The other All Blacks team has been named, folks. The All Blacks 15, essentially the All Blacks B team, has been named for 3 matches up in the Northern Hemisphere in the November window. Remember, these aren't test matches because this is not the All Blacks proper, but the All Blacks 15. It is going to be coached by Jamie Joseph, although he's not had free reign over selections. It's Razor's inputs as well that have picked the team. It's looking a pretty interesting one with a mix of some veterans and a bunch of youngsters and a few guys who've missed out. We'll go through the squad itself, how you guys think they're going to go and who you think has been unlucky to miss out. I feel like the one guy whose name was on everybody's lips going into the selection of the ABs and this squad was Otago halfback Dylan Pledger. Remember, he's had a pretty outstanding NPC season in the Otago colours. He's a former under-20s player. He's only 20 years old, but he's missed out on both the All Blacks and the All Blacks 15, and maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but I don't have a problem with that because the guy's not even played Super Rugby. I know there's been a number of players who have kind of jumped the gun and just gone straight into top-level representation, but at only 20 years old, I don't mind giving Dylan Pledger a bit of time to keep growing at only 20 years old and get more experience rather than necessarily chuck him in this squad. The halfbacks they've gone with are Folau Fakatava, Kyle Preston, and Xavier Rowe. That's also part of the reason I don't have a problem with it because Kyle Preston, remember, he got his 1 All Blacks cap. He is one of the 8 cap guys in this squad during the Rugby Championship when we were having a bit of a crisis at halfback, so it might have been a bit unfair to just cap and dump him. Folau Fakatava has also been very good in the NPC. Remember, he is a capped All Black. He is also eligible for Tonga if he was wanting to switch nationalities, and as far as I'm aware, the All Blacks 15 doesn't kind of capture a player in terms of their eligibility, so he can play for this team and not potentially rule himself out for later switching to Tonga, but he gives himself a crack at getting himself back in the mix for All Blacks selection, does Fakatava. And then Xavier Rowe, who remember was called into the All Blacks squad when they were having that injury crisis as the kind of next cab off the rank, even though he didn't get any game time. So the guys they've selected, I think, have earned their selections there as well. And as Jamie Joseph said, Pledger's time will come. I don't think we need to rush him just yet. The other capped All Blacks guys, Brodie McAllister, I think Razor directly mentioned in the All Blacks team naming that he would be in this squad, so his selection there is no surprise alongside Bradley Slater, who's in a kind of similar career position in him in terms of being an established Super Rugby player, and then youngster Jack Taylor is the other guy there. There's no capped props. Excited to see how Xavier Numia goes, to be fair. Locks is looking a little bit lighter for depth. They've only got 3 locks named because remember Sam Darry, after not being named in the All Blacks, has now been shifted to the All Blacks with Paddy Tuipulotu heading off for some shoulder surgery. So Sam Darry would have been in this team. That just leaves Akoi, Berry, and Walker Leawede as the 3 locks. I guess they do have TK Howden, who in a pinch could fill in as the kind of extra lock. I do feel like we have a heap of loosies. There's 2 capped guys in the mix. Christian Leo Willie, who got capped recently against the French back in June. Was it June or July? And Dalton Papali'i, who's I think the most capped guy in the squad in terms of All Blacks caps. He's got like 30 odd caps for the ABs. So he's keeping himself in the All Blacks mix, I guess, even if it does feel like his stocks have greatly fallen. But, you know, you got TK Howden, you got Devin Flanders, you got Kalen Bush, you got Sean Withy. We have got plenty of good loose forwards in New Zealand, and the ones with the ABs are looking pretty good as well. We've already talked the halfbacks, the 2 first fives, Josh Jacob and Rivers Rehana. Yeah, keen to see a bit of depth built at 10 in the ABs, to be honest, because we got Bodie, we got DMAC, and Richie's going to come back. These guys are all in their late 20s, early 30s. So, yeah, there's they don't seem to be giving Ruben Love a heck of a lot of time. So they do need to do something with that position at some point. The midfield is by far the most experienced, looking with 3 of the 4 guys actually capped All Blacks, with David Havili, Braden Enor, Dallas McLeod, and Daniel Ron as the only uncapped guy. And then outside backs, Fihaki, Nana Saturo, Ratu Maitavuki, Neepkins, and Tangitau. I reckon the outside backs are looking pretty good, actually. I was kind of keen to see the likes of a Taukei'aho be a bit of a bolter, potentially ahead of the likes of a Savea Reese maybe, because this guy's absolute lightning. But I don't have a problem with him being in the AB's 15 again, to maybe put that as the next step up on the road to potentially test status. But I mean, Ratima Tavuki Nipkins has got a big old boot on him. Vihaki could be a potential option at fullback for the All Blacks going forward. We'll have to wait and see. 3 matches for these guys. They got the Barbars first over in England, followed by England's A side, and then a match up against Uruguay. So it will be a good test of the All Blacks' depth, just that level below test level. You know, the likes of Uruguay will be certainly up for it, facing a team in the black jersey, and you know, England will be testing their depth against the All Blacks' depth as well. So it may give us an interesting perspective on where these teams are in terms of that next layer of talent. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts. Average age of 25 is pretty young. I think Havili is the only guy who's 30 or more in the squad, so it's a couple of years younger on average than the All Blacks proper. But yeah, be keen to see how some of these guys go. Who are you guys most keen to see get a crack? Apart from Fletcher, are you disappointed for anybody else? And yeah, you guys take care. Talk to you guys again soon. See you later.